Welcome, everybody, to October. So, if you haven't been to my channel yet and you are new, I do true crime cases, and they're really interesting to me, and they pique my curiosity. And I like this kind of stuff. So, if you like it, give me a like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can get a notification every time I upload. Now, I tend to upload on Fridays. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of the show Mindhunter. If you haven't, which I'm pretty sure you probably have, it's on Netflix, and it's about a true story about a FBI agent who puts together this behavioral analysis department together. So they haven't, basically in the 70s and before that, they didn't know what to call serial killers yet. So this is them trying to understand the behavior of them. And they basically go and interview the worst of the worst. So like Edmund Kemper, which they did in the first season, Richard Speck, which they did in the first season. He's a fucking Looney Tune. And Son of Sam, they just did. They're going to be doing Charles Manson this season. And they're basically, and then the background character for season 1 and 2 is the BTK killer. Which you don't understand what that means. It's bind, torture, kill. That's what he called himself because that's what he does. So it's a really good show. I love it. Like, I hope Netflix continues to keep making this seasons and not cancel them after 2 like they are famous to do for. So let's just hope that they don't, because it's really good. It's very knowledgeable. It's actually based off of an actual real life FBI agent. I forget his name. But his name is not Holden Ford like it is in the character in Mindhunter. It's something Douglas or Douglas something. But yeah, it's really, really good. You should definitely go watch it. And today's story is about the first female killer that I am doing. And I'm not going to count Carla Homolka because her and her husband, Paul Bernardo, did that together. She did not do that. Well, I guess, I don't know. Hard to say. But this one is about Evelyn Nee McLean. And her case was called the Torso Murder Case. But it is one of the most sensational and talked about murder cases in Canada's history. Partly because of what she did, and back in that day, like, it was, oh my God, you know? Especially for a woman, because there's not a lot of female killers. Like, I mean, there is and there isn't. There's more male killers and serial killers than there is female. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we're a smarter species. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Kind of, not really. But yeah, so her crime of half a century after it was committed, it spawned like a movie and a play, inspired music and books. So this is about Evelyn Nee McLean, also known as Evelyn Dick, when she married her husband. So let's buckle up because it's kind of fucked up. So yeah, Evelyn McLean. Oh, so sorry. Evelyn Nee McLean, later known as Evelyn Dick, was born October 13th in 1920 in Beamsville, Ontario, Canada. She was born to Donald and Alexandria McLean. The family had decided to move to 214 Rosalind Ave in Hamilton, Ontario. Her father, Donald, worked for the Hamilton Street Railway, so the HRS, as a streetcar conductor. He then later on had acquired an office position which he had access to the company revenues. So he had access to the company money. You'll see where this is going. Her childhood was not very good. Her father was an alcoholic. Her mother wasn't a very kind person. So mothers are supposed to be very kind, loving, gentle-hearted people. Not her mom. Her mom was a dick. Huh. Because of... Never mind. Evelyn's parents wouldn't let her associate with the neighborhood children as they had thought that she would be too fragile. Now, when I was a kid, I'd hurt myself. Like, not on purpose, but like accidentally out playing outside. Like, that's the whole point of being a child, is to enjoy that kind of stuff. Like, not hurting yourself, but like just enjoying outside and running around. And kids hurt themselves. It happens. I mean, that's just kids. They should be able to enjoy life as a child and enjoy their childhood for as long as they have it, which isn't very long. It's a very short thing because everyone's so quick to want to grow up. Newsflash, everybody, it's not that fucking fun. It fucking sucks. I never want to adult, but unfortunately I have to. Rumors started circulating around that Evelyn's father, Donald, was dipping into the coffers at his work with the HRS. There's rumors that he was stealing money. That's what happens when you're greedy. They always seemed to have huge sums of money in their bank and would send Evelyn shopping with hands full of nickels. The fee collected for the fair in those days, so it didn't cost a lot. I mean, compared to now, it's like $250, $3. I don't know. I haven't rode the bus in like a long time, but now in the city that I grew up in, a bus pass is $92 a month. A month. Okay? A month. That's a lot of money for a fucking bus pass. Whatever. Her parents encouraged Evelyn to try and become close with, you know, the elites of Hamilton, like just to be in with the rich kids. Her parents pulled her out of a public school and put Evelyn into the prestigious Loretto Academy, which the elites, daughters of Hamilton's, you know, like, elites. That's what I just said. Hamilton's, like, rich families would go to. She would always have lavish parties at the Royal Connaught. I think that's how you say it. Connaught Hotel. Yeah. I think so. Hamilton's finest, and spend money freely all the time on people that she just met, because she was trying to buy her way into these friend circles with people. And that doesn't actually end well for anybody, because, like, I mean, you just shouldn't do it. If people aren't going to like you for who you are, fuck them. Who cares? Like, they shouldn't matter. But I also think I'm like this because when I was younger, I had a lot of friends. And, like, you realize that once you get older, you don't really need that many friends. I have a very close-knit circle of friends that I have that I know I can trust. And I just don't, like, I have lots of friends, like, acquaintances and, like, friends. But, like, my best friends and stuff like that, girls that know me or girls that I trust, well, they know who they are. They just know. So, however, as hard as she would try to fit in, it didn't go the way that she wanted. So whenever she would try her hardest to fit in with somebody, the things that she was giving out, she wasn't getting back. So no one was treating her, you know, the way that she was treating everybody else. She was a very beautiful woman, by all accounts. She was very gorgeous. Which is, I think, a lot of the reason why this case got a lot of hype to begin with, a lot more attention. Not just because she killed somebody, but because of how beautiful she was. And she, unfortunately, became the focus of many rumors when she was in her mid-teens. She had worn way more jewelry and expensive furs than most girls her age. A lot of people didn't think it was acceptable for someone as young as her at the time. She would spend most of her time in the company of much older men and at places out of town and at racetracks. So now I couldn't find a lot of information on this because this really ticked me off, because I try to find as much as I can and just like compile it all into one little thing. But according to my parents, she was a prostitute or escort or whatever, but she was a very high-end one. Because the house that she had bought, that she later, her and her husband lived in, I guess, she paid that down with her own money. she was escorting for a lot of high class, higher up people, like judges and lawyers and just people who were really up there, if you know what I mean. Yeah. In 1942, she had given birth to her first child, which was a little girl that she named Heather, which in turn just made the rumors fly around even more. So obviously, but Evelyn said that, it's not a big deal. I'm married. My husband is stationed overseas, and his name was White. His last name was White. So, but unfortunately later on, people looked into the records and they realized that nobody by this name was ever, around or ever existed. So, yeah. In June of 1945, Evelyn, her daughter, who would have been 4 years old at the time, and her mother moved into an apartment in downtown Hamilton because her mother, Alexandria, and her father, Donald, divorced or separated or whatever. They no longer wanted to be married. And yeah, so this brings to the other person of the story, who is the victim. His name is John Dick. Now, there wasn't a lot I could find about him. Of course, everything's all about her because of what she did, but I did not find a lot about him, which I'm kind of upset about because he's the victim in all of this shit, and there should be a lot more about him. So, unfortunately, there isn't, but this is all I could find. His name was John Dick. He was born in May on the 25th in 1906, so he was a hell of a lot older than this girl. And in Halbstadt in Russia. I butcher things, so if you guys don't realize that by now, then you probably should, but yeah. And his parents decided they should move into Ontario, Canada in 1924 because along with a lot of other German-speaking Mennonites, they fled from the Russian Revolution. It was a really dark, tough time over there during that time. So people fled over here or fled to the States because they didn't want to be involved in that shit. I can't understand why they wouldn't want to be involved. It's dangerous. So, yeah, they moved here to the Vineland, Beamsville area, which is in the 1940s. John had decided to move to Hamilton to acquire a job, which he did. In 1943, he landed a job for the HSR, which is where Evelyn's father worked. And he became a bus and streetcar driver. So I don't know how Evelyn and him met. I'm going to assume it's because he worked with her father and that's how she met him. I'm not sure. I tried looking for this. It's just a lot about her. It's not any, I literally for hours looked for stuff about John. Now maybe I'm stupid and I missed something, but I couldn't find anything about him. No more than I already did. So I was like, well, what the hell? Anyways, which if you don't know, also Hamilton is known as Steel City. So Evelyn met him, and then they married in the same year that they met on October 4th, 1945. And they only knew each other for a short time. So a lot of the times back then, people did get married pretty quickly. From what I recall, my great aunt, my great uncle knew each other for 3 or 4 months and they got married. But they were together for their whole lives. They were so cute, the two of them. They were adorable. But anyways, her parents didn't approve of the union. Her mother especially, because her mother had no idea who John was. Which if you makes your daughter happy, who gives a shit? If your daughter seems happy. But anyways, it didn't last very long. The marriage started crumbling after 6 months. And John apparently stumbled upon Evelyn's father, Donald's, scamming of taking out money from the fare boxes. So I guess he figured out that his father-in-law was taking hundreds, if not thousands of dollars from the HSR where they both worked. So yeah, I think he tried to blackmail him, which you don't do. especially to your father-in-law, I would just report him and just leave it at that. But whatever, everyone's different. So like it was like 5 cents to ride the bus or the train or the streetcar back then. So if they have like hundreds of, if not thousands of dollars that he took, like that's a lot of money, especially for back then. Like that's a lot of fucking money. And anyway, so now this is what happens to him. Anyways, of March 16th, 1945, 5 children were hiking near Albion Falls, and they happened to stumble upon, to them at first, which would seem like some sort of dead animal. Like maybe a pig or something. But then at a closer look, they discovered that it was to be the headless and limbless torso that had been dumped there almost 2 weeks ago. The police were notified. The body was later identified as John Dick by his brother-in-law because of a cyst on his lower backside and an undescended testicle. I don't know how the fuck he would know that. That's pretty weird. Must be really, really close with him. But anyways, yeah, it's fucked up. The torso had 2 superficial bullet wounds, one in the chest that would not have killed him. The pathologist said that John's cause of death was likely a gunshot to the head, something that could not be proven because the head was incinerated along with his limbs. So what happened was he was murdered in his house that him and Evelyn lived in, and his head, his arms, and his legs were chopped off and thrown in this fire in their house, like the fireplace or whatever. Excuse me. And yeah, so I'm assuming like what, you know, everyone else is probably thinking during this, that the torso was too hard to cut through, and so the only other thing they could do is to dispose of it somewhere. So yeah, that's what they did. I still don't understand why people who do this kind of stuff, like if you're not happy with somebody, you don't want to be with somebody, get a fucking divorce or just fucking leave. Or some, I don't know what to tell you, but stop killing your spouses. It's fucking stupid. I would rather, if I was to ever get married, and God forbid, you know, if we had to get a divorce, I would rather lose some money than fucking spend the rest of my life in prison for killing somebody. Even if it's not that. Stop killing people. There is no excuse or no reason in the world to kill some. I have to think about that. Maybe hurting children. That is a very good reason why someone should die. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't really care how anybody looks at it. I don't think that it's right that people harm children. But yeah. Stop killing your spouses, please. Because it's just stupid. And you always get caught. And you're going to go to prison. You fucking idiots. Think with your heads, please. But anyways, yeah, so it was too difficult for them to cut through and to put in the oven. It wouldn't fit, oven, fireplace, whatever. So they decided to dump the remains in a secluded area. So that was like, you know, what I said, the Albion Falls, which is along like the Hamilton Escarpment area, I believe, because that's what the stories I've heard. Evelyn became the first suspect pretty quickly in the murder of her husband. Obvious, because that's what the police always looked towards first, is the spouses. Because usually it's a crime of passion or something like that, where the husband will kill the wife or the wife will kill the husband. And, you know, or other family members that are close with them. They always look at them too. She started to give like a series of bizarre and inconsistent statements to the police. She was also having an affair with a former boyfriend named Bill Bohozuk. I can't pronounce the last name, I'm sorry. To which she made huge claims and tales about her boyfriend, about how he had something to do with her husband's murder because of his ties with the mafia. But at some points, she even said that she didn't know anything at all. Eventually, Evelyn, her father, Donald McLean, and her boyfriend, Bohozuk, were charged with the murder of John Dick. Everyone was wondering why such a beautiful young woman could do such a heinous and disturbing, gruesome crime. The trial began with the biggest show in town, or the trial became the biggest show in town. Huge lineups formed outside the Main Street East courthouse as people tried to get a seat or a glimpse of the femme fatale arriving. It was front page news across the country. The court not only heard about evidence that pointed to Evelyn Dick's involvement in her husband's murder, there was also testimony about the wild sex escapades with well-heeled men in the community and stories about her infamous black book. So it was all like a book of all the men that she slept with and all the men that paid for her. So it was all like elite men. Like I said before, she was a high-end escort. That's how she was able to put a down payment for her house and all this other stuff. Yeah. The court learned about her alcoholic father's years of ripping off the HSR. Dick was convicted by a jury and sentenced to hang, but a young Toronto lawyer named J.J. Hobinette emerged to successfully appeal the ruling on grounds that her statements to the police were improperly obtained. Okay. Another trial was ordered and Dick was acquitted. The murder charge against McLean was dropped and he ended up pleading guilty to being an accessory after the fact. He was sentenced to 4 years. Bohozek served a year. But then there was the matter of the baby, the Peter David White. The one that was suffocated and encased in cement in a suitcase. It was found by police in the attic of Dick's house at 32 Carrick Ave. Dick's mother, Alexandria, testified Dick told her she had given the baby to the Children's Aid Society. Dick was convicted of manslaughter. She was sentenced to life in prison and transported to Kingston Penitentiary for women. Bozak was also charged in the crime but acquitted when it became clear that he could not possibly have been in 1958. Dick was released from prison on parole with a new identity. Since then, she managed to elude a prying public eye and the media. There have been rumors about her in London, Ontario area or living out west for a short time. In 1987, she was wrongly thought to have died in a house fire in Binbrook. Many say they have seen her in Hamilton area. As well, the mystery still remains about who pulled the trigger to kill John Dick. Was it Evelyn or her father? Only theories remain. So, oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. That was my dryer. I mean, I don't even know why she killed him. Maybe it's because she didn't want to be married to him and she thought she loved him and she doesn't anymore. Or she wanted to be with her boyfriend. But either way, like I said, get a fucking divorce. Leave him. Who cares? You want to be with your mafia boyfriend, then be with him. But don't kill your husband just because you're married. Just get a divorce. Just fucking divorce him. Who gives a shit? Go on being your hoe-ass self. You know, whatever. Sleeping around, cheating on your husband. But, it just annoys me. Like, I just don't understand it. She was a beautiful woman. She could have done anything with her life. Anything. And I'm not knocking on people being escorts. I don't really give a shit what you do to make money. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Maybe that's the only thing that she thought that she could do. I don't know. She could have married a wealthy guy and he could have taken care of her. She was, however, trying to be in the same circle as all of these rich people. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand why people kill their spouses. I don't get it. And it happens a lot in the States. It happens here too, but not as much as the States. God, they have more people, but it's crazy. Like, if you're that worried about money, then just get a prenup when you get married so that everything that you come in with, you leave with. And vice versa for the person that you're marrying. Like, I don't understand it. It's just a crazy world we live in. And that was back in the 40s. And people are still doing this shit today. So, I don't know. I have no idea. But anyways, I gotta go eat some food. I have to go fold some laundry. I actually haven't ate at all today. I'm starving. My stomach is like literally eating itself. So I'm gonna go have some breakfast for lunch because I'm fucking hungry. And I hope that you all have a safe and awesome weekend. There will be another video up next week, so please just have some patience with me. I'm trying to do it every week. I'm human. I mess up. I don't do it. I might even put it up today. Whatever. But yeah, anyways, everyone have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. And I will see you guys all next week. Bye.